Hey guys, so I thought I'd do a video because in no way did I think that anyone would read my long email when I started to type it out. So I wanted to do it video so you guys can quickly listen to it, whether that be on your drive home or whatever. So I have a really awesome story about feedback that I really wanted to share with you all to provide you support or help, since that's kind of what our PD block was about yesterday, and what Drew was talking about. So yeah, I thought this was worth sharing. The reason why I wanted to share it is at least in what I'm experiencing in my classroom for the first time, because of the feedback I'm giving my students, I'm seeing students take ownership for the first time. They're taking responsibility to get them to the level that they want, to the proficiency level they want to get. And so it's awesome. And so I kind of wanted to share this with you all. So I'm going to kind of talk about two stories real quick. So the first thing that I've been kind of talking to my students about is this idea of thinking of Spanish as a house. And the foundation of this house that they get to build this year is really vocabulary. And so, I kind of explained to them that this idea that, think of a house. If you don't have a solid foundation, what happens to the house? Well, it crumbles down. And so that's how it is with vocabulary in my class. I don't spend a whole lot of time teaching vocabulary because to me, there's so many different ways that students learn vocabulary. And so in the very beginning of each unit, I kind of spend a couple days on it, but then the rest of it, I kind of really spend on the meat of the learning targets that I want. So anyways, I kind of expressed to them that, vocabulary, when I give them vocabulary sheets, that's a tool that they can use to build a solid foundation. So that when they have that solid foundation built, meaning they've learned the vocabulary or the majority of it, then that's where they can start really building a solid house, meaning the rest of the house is really our learning targets in Spanish: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. When they have a solid foundation in learning vocabulary, then the rest of the house, usually they can find success in building a really strong house for them. When I explained that analogy in that way, I saw a lot of light bulbs going off. And so instead of just looking at this vocab sheet I'm giving it to and then just stuffing it in the trash or in their backpack and losing it, I created value in it. And I think sometimes when it comes to vocab, as teachers, what are you doing to create value in whatever tools or resources that you're giving your students? So that's number one. Number two is my students just finished their first test of the year, so where I'm assessing them over their listening, reading, writing, and speaking skills in Spanish. And so I got to assess, just recently finished assessing over speaking in groups where students talk to me, and the goal is just to have a conversation in Spanish. And so I kind of explained to the students, I ask them the questions, I give them the feedback they need, and then at that point, once I give them their scores and I say, you are proficient, you're nearing proficient, you're below basic, then I ask them, how did you prepare for this speaking test? I have some students, especially those students that were proficient or advanced level in their speaking ability. I asked them too, what did you do to prepare for the test? And all those students say that they actually studied. They practiced with a partner. They practiced the language. And then I would always say, okay, well, that's working for you. I kind of always ask the question, what's working, what's not working for them? So it kind of creates for them this reflection piece after we're done assessing. And so, of course, the students that hit proficient or nearing proficient or advanced, after they tell me, oh yeah, I've studied, I practiced with a partner, and I said, well, that's working for you, so keep it up. And then the kids that get nearing proficient, which to me I think is fine. But again, the goal in my class is to hit proficient. And then, of course, those students that hit below basic, I kind of ask them, again, same question, what did you do to prepare the test? So, of course, you guys probably aren't surprised about this. They say, I didn't do anything. And so then I ask them this question, did that work for you in this test? And they always say no. And I said, okay, what are you going to do moving forward? And so this is where, again, a reflection piece for them, where I'm creating this opportunity for them to take ownership of it. And then at the same time, where they know that I'm here to help them, to support them in any way I can. Like after they tell me, well, this is what I'm going to do, like moving forward, then like let's say vocab they struggled with because they didn't know any words in Spanish, so therefore they bombed the speaking test. So then what I told them, I asked them, do you need some, help figuring out ways to learn vocabulary? Because some students don't know. They just don't know how they learn. Because they just have never, I don't know, they just don't care to, I guess, figure out what works for them or what doesn't. So then I kind of provide them some examples of what could work for them and what couldn't, like flashcards, whatever the case may be. I kind of give them some solutions to think about. And then, of course, I always say, when you feel ready, come back and reassess and just say you're ready. So I got this email today, and this kind of piggies back to the last story I just told. I got an email today. A student had emailed me, hey, Miss Lane, can I reassess on the speaking test? And he's like, I didn't get the grade or the level that I wanted to get, and I know that that's my fault. And so I want to come in and reassess. And so for me, that excited me. That almost kind of made my day, because my response to that student was, first off, I want to acknowledge you for owning, your mistake, for taking ownership in your grade in this class, and taking ownership that you realized that you didn't do all that you could do to get the grade that you wanted. And so that showed responsibility. And I told that to the student. And I feel like sometimes when we don't acknowledge students, then, I feel like it doesn't create that opportunity for them to have those light bulb moments, because, and plus it kind of, I guess, reinforces, it's like that positive reinforcement for them. And so, yeah, he's coming. I have 3 students already coming in this afternoon on a Friday and reassessing. And I'm excited that for the first time, instead of me hearing, oh, it's the teacher's fault, they're taking ownership of it. They're taking responsibility for it. And so I always kind of wonder to myself, well, is that because of the language I use as far as my feedback? Is that helping kids realize, kind of helping them to reflect of how they can take ownership in what they're learning? And I hope that's the case. And so I just wanted to share that with you all, to maybe ask you the same question, kind of like what you were saying. Like, how are you providing feedback? How are you providing those opportunities for students to reflect on how they can take ownership for it? And then, sometimes they're teenagers. Sometimes we kind of need to coach them on that, and that's just the way it is. So I hope you guys have an awesome Friday, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.